A very good evening and a warm welcome to this week's second edition of Primetime News. I'm Selima Shimwefeleni Masipa. As we always call upon you, if it's your first time joining us, please subscribe, press the like button, and be sure to click on the notifications bell to stay up to date with the latest happenings locally and globally. Bilateral relations lead tonight's bulletin. Namibia and South Africa will hold the third session of the Binational Commission in Windhoek on Saturday. The Commission provides opportunities for the presidents of the two countries to further enhance bilateral cooperation while serving as a platform to exchange views on issues of mutual interests and concerns. Mulisa Simiasa compiled our first report.
A media statement issued by the Ministry of International Relations and Cooperation said the Commission session scheduled to end on 12 April will be attended by President Dr. Hage Geingob and his counterpart, the President of the Republic of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. It is at this session level where the two presidents would review the cooperation of the two countries in a wide range of areas including diplomatic, legal, economic, social, defense, as well as security. Several other new bilateral agreements and memoranda of understanding are expected to be signed at the Commission sessions. President Geingob will chair the sessions, while Ramaphosa will co-chair and also lead the South African delegation to the conference. The statement further revealed that the Ministers of International Relations and Cooperation of the two countries, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah of Namibia and Dr. Naledi Pandor of the Republic of South Africa, will also hold ministerial sessions during the event. The sessions were first held in November 2012 between the two countries.
The Ministry of Health and Social Services has announced an outbreak of scabies infections, an itchy skin condition caused by a tiny burrowing mite called Psychopsis scabii. Briefing the media in the capital on Monday, Health Minister Dr. Kalumbi Shangula said on the 28th of March 2022, the ministry received reports of an increasing number of human scabies, mostly in the northern regions. However, it has now spread countrywide with 3,454 cases reported. Let's get more on this report compiled by Linnea Dishena.
Briefing the media here on Monday, Health Minister Dr. Kalumbi Shangula said on the 28th of March 2022, the ministry received reports of an increased number of human scabies, mostly in the northern regions. However, it has now spread countrywide, with 3,454 cases reported. Shangula explained that scabies parasitic infestation burrows into human skin and lay eggs, which eventually triggers a host immune response that leads to intense itching and a rash. He indicated that the most infected populations are communities living along the northern borders, school learners, and migrants in urban and pre-urban areas where access to water and sanitation facilities is lacking or inadequate. The highest cases were reported in Kunene, 1,418, Ohangwena 708, Oshodonjupa 402, Kavango West 375, Kavango East 204, Omusati 130, Oshana 104, Omaheke 46, Hardap and Oshukoto 20 each, Erongo 17, while Karas reported 10 cases. Shangula further noted that scabies is usually transmitted from person to person through close skin contact.
On to matters concerning water reticulation. Windhoek City Councillor Austin Quinani revealed in a media statement availed on Monday that the practice of managed aquifer recharge by the city of Windhoek ensured that the supply of potable water to Windhoek residents remained uninterrupted for the past 5 years. He revealed this at an event marking the annual World Wetland Day and International Day of Forest.
Quinani said the city currently has 7 established recharge stations where water can be injected into the underground aquifer to enhance the groundwater replenishment process, which is otherwise slow under Namibia's arid conditions. He noted the previous drought period leading up to 2020 showcased the effectiveness of the management of Windhoek's aquifer and other surrounding aquifers, adding that the obstruction of groundwater shifted from a supplemental role to the main conjunctive supply source. The concept of artificial recharge in the aquifer, he stated, dates back to 1990, when the council explored various water supply options to augment Windhoek's future water requirements. This year's commemoration, which took place on 1 April, was held under the theme, Groundwater, Too Precious for People, Forests and Wetlands, Making the Invisible Visible.
Now on to news from the African continent. A former Sudanese militia leader earlier today pleaded not guilty to committing war crimes in Sudan's Darfur region. AFP brings us more.
Ali Muhammad Rahman, 72, an ally of disposed Sudanese strongman Omar al-Bashir, was a senior commander of the Janjaweed militia, a notorious armed group created by the government. "I reject all these charges. I am innocent of all these charges," Rahman told the court in Hague as his trial opened and he was asked to plea. He faces 31 counts of war crimes and crimes against humanity committed in 2003-2004 in the arid western Sudanese region. The United Nations says 300,000 people were killed and 2.5 million people were displaced in the 2003-2004 conflict in the arid western Sudanese region.
Kindly stand by for your top roundup. In the business and economic segment tonight, we begin in neighboring South Africa, where Moody's change of outlook for the country to stable from negative was hailed as an indication of further improvement of the country's finances. Xinhua sheds more details.
Senior economist at Efficient Group, Davi Root, told Xinhua on Monday that South Africa's revenue collection has improved substantially, resulting in a change in outlook, and the government is also controlling spending. According to Moody's, commodity prices have boosted the profitability of mining companies, which resulted in a 58% jump in corporate income tax in fiscal 2021, or 2% of GDP, more than anticipated in the initial. It also noted that South Africa's government also limited its wage bill growth to 1.6% for the first time in many years, which is well below inflation. Moody's previously rated South Africa at Ba2, 2 rungs below investment grade, with a negative outlook, which means the next step could potentially be another downgrade. It added among the factors driving the decision to change the outlook to stable was the improved fiscal outlook, which increases the likelihood that the government's debt burden will stabilize over the medium term.
Onto the automotive sector, the people's car manufacturer Volkswagen presented lower figures for the first quarter of the calendar year due to an ongoing shortage of semiconductors and persistent global supply chain problems that are affecting the car industry. DPA breaks down the numbers for us.
VW sold over 65 new cars there in the opening quarter, according to a statement on Monday, 28.5% fewer than a year ago. Sales in the US had already dropped significantly in the final quarter of 2021. VW saw significant losses of sales of all its important models in the first quarter of 2022. Sales in the Tiguan and Atlas SUVs, both popular in the US and a major source of income for the company, fell as steeply as the Jetta and Passat.
Kindly stay tuned for the economics roundup, followed by the weather forecast. Athletics leads the segment. Minister of Sport, Youth and National Service Agnes Chongarero has encouraged Namibia's 1,500-meter national champion to stay humble after dominating this year's Athletics Namibia Grand Prix and the Senior National Championships. David Dam, who hails from one of Namibia's disadvantaged communities, won a gold in 1,500 meters and a silver medal in 800 meters at the Athletics Namibia Senior Championships held at the Independence Stadium over the weekend. The athlete and his coach, Bethold Karumendu, are scheduled to compete in the Athletics South Africa Grand Prix 3 Continental Tour on the 6th of April, as well as the Athletics South Africa Grand Prix 4 Continental Tour on the 9th of April. Now on to rugby. Kenya will defend their African Rugby Under-20 Championships crown against neighbours Uganda on Saturday in the country's capital, Nairobi. The Rugby Africa Under-20 Bathurst Trophy gets underway with 8 nations participating and will be rucked over on a knockout basis over 3 days. Former champions Namibia will kick off the tournament and face Cote d'Ivoire in the opening fixture, paving the way for the second clash between Tunisia and Zimbabwe. Kindly stand by for your sports roundup. With the Sport Planet segment, we've come to the end of Tuesday night's edition of Primetime News. Many thanks for tuning in. Once more, another reminder that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like, share, and hit the notifications bell to stay up to date with the latest happenings locally and globally. Feel free to interact with us as well in the comment section. Do catch us tomorrow for the midweek edition of Primetime News. From myself, Salima Shimwefeleni Masipa, and the entire production crew, it's good night.